Today, I have descended into the depths of Destiny's Discord server in order to talk to moderate left-leaning people about the things that they are outraged about. And I went like, give me your outrage, leftist man. Give me your outrage so I can present it on my channel for other people to read so that we break out of the evil right-wing bubble. And they did provide me with this very interesting article written by the BBC called 8 Ways the World is Not Designed for Women. And the reason I love this article is because they believe in intelligent design. How else can we bridge the gap between right-wing and left-wing thought unless we find common ground? And it seems that the people from the BBC believe that the world is intelligently designed. Unfortunately, not for women. But at least, we have that common thing. Although, I do want to say I don't like the word women on my channel. I don't like it because I'm a very progressive person. I listen to a lot of American media. And I understand that the correct terminology used by the Biden administration is birthing people. They probably call a hospital a birthing chamber. And the reason I like it is because it reminds me of sci-fi movies. It reminds me of the terminology used there. And I'm thinking that, if anything, America right now definitely has the language in place to colonize the stars. So, like the word women, I know, birthing people seems to be in. Okay. So how is the world not designed for women, you may wonder? Now, the first issue seems to be regarding CPR. And this is dangerous, right? Like life-saving stuff. Live or die type of decisions. So I gotta ask you a question. Let's say you're walking and you're finding a woman that has collapsed in front of you. Now, despite of what you may do, studies show, experts claim that people have a reluctance to give CPR to a woman than they have the desire to give CPR to a man. So why is it that you have the reluctance, bigot? Why are you reluctant if you see a beautiful señorita collapsing in front of you? Why are you reluctant to perform the CPR? I don't even care what you have to say, bigot. Okay? Because journalists are like an army of Charles Xaviers on wheelchair. They are strong telepaths able to tell me what you think and why you are reluctant. You see, the reason you are reluctant to give CPR is due to the fact that you are the victim of a grand conspiracy theory. There have been people conspiring against you, manipulating you from the shadows, making sure that you're not going to give CPR. And those people are the evil capitalists manufacturing mannequins. Okay? Because we're going to have a flashback, just like when Naruto was fighting Madara. You get like the flashback from when you were doing your training on how to perform CPR, and you realize that it was a male mannequin. Had it been a female mannequin, you'd have been more likely to give CPR. Okay? That's the reason. Now, a lot of bigots would assume that it has something to do with culture. Like placing your hands next to a stranger's breasts is a little bit problematic. Other people might consider it a little bit sus. But no. I mean, yesterday actually, I was walking close to a park, and there was like this little girl that came up to me, and she was a little bit worried because she couldn't find her parents. Now, during this interaction, in my brain, I realized that I am a 35-year-old man, and this is a child that is not biologically related to me. So I'm in a little bit of a pickle. Like, what if her mom comes up and is going to assume that I'm the one that, right? So I want to know if the people from BBC can help me out with this question. Why was it that I'm less likely to want to give aid to lost children? Because I don't know, like, what was the mannequin that I was supposed to study on how to perform this activity? Not made into the child size, huh? Yeah, I definitely think it might have a little bit to do, like all jokes aside, it might have a little bit to do with the stuff that lawsuits are a thing. And you get to see a lot of crazy people in the media nowadays who get upset over trivial things. And you might think, okay, if I'm going to give CPR to this person and they wake up, what if they assume that I'm doing something to them? What if the people around me assume, right? Because from personal experience, I haven't seen medical professionals have this issue. Like, medical professionals don't have anything against giving CPR to men or women. Lifeguards don't have the same reluctance. It's just like random people. The chance of a random person actually having a mannequin and learning to give CPR is kind of low. So, it's also like people have a reluctance to give CPR to drunks, right? So maybe I guess the company making the mannequins should also add the fetid smell of alcohol around the lips of the person, of the mannequin, in order to train the specialists, right? So the second reason why, according to the BBC, the world is not designed for women is the spacesuits. So I guess it's a problem if you're a wealthy astronaut and you don't get the correct spacesuits, but I see that the problem is fixed. So up till this article, the world was not designed for women, but slowly and steadily, I mean, we're moving, we're giant steps, and we're getting spacesuits. I still don't know if in America you get maternity leave if you're a woman, right? Like, I don't know if you get benefits for having kids. But you might not have that, but you know what you have? If you happen to become an astronaut, you're going to get spacesuits designed for you. Don't laugh, bigot. This is a serious issue. Military equipment. In the 2016, the US military began to recruit women for combat roles in previously male-only units, like the Marine Corps and the Navy SEAL. But much of the armor was still designed for men. According to this Democratic Congresswoman, Nikki Tsongas, at the time called out the military's unresponsiveness to the needs of female service members, citing the alarming disadvantage for women, including being unable to properly fire a weapon. And according to this, the women who went into Iraq and Afghanistan, they did so in equipment designed for men, says Alex Elias, a scholar focusing on women in the military. So as you can see, this is absolutely horrible. This is a level of oppression that you don't even get to see in the third world. But I do want to say that there is good news. If you listen to Joe Biden, the current administration in the US, he talked about how the military is going to design flight suits for pregnant female jet fighter pilots. So we are noticing small steps towards progress, okay, like slowly but surely. I'm sure the BBC will make an article maybe 5 years from now. 8 ways the world is now designed for women. Although, you know, like I hear a lot of right-wing bigots talking about how the US military might be a little short on recruits. A lot of people don't want to go there anymore. And instead of improving the benefits and trying to attract more people to go there, they're just expanding the pool of people by trying to encourage women to also join. I don't know about that. Hopefully, we're not going to see them having a PR campaign saying that the military is not ageist. And they're going to try to recruit children as well to show that they're not discriminating based on an age bracket. I don't know. I know other nations did so in history in times of great need when they wanted to pull more resources. And this also has to do a little bit with the fact that you have a military that's a little bit stretched, you know, in several other continents that I would say shouldn't be. But again, I'm not a left-leaning progressive person, so I don't know how the Joe Biden administration views the situation, whether or not troops are needed in Syria, whether or not troops are needed in other countries and other nations. You know, like maybe you'd spend less money if you had troops more at home. But, you know, I'm not an expert. I'm not a scholar. So I just report on the news. Then we get like car crash dummies. Apparently, because companies are using dummies that are made specifically designed for men. Like I thought that the dummies are made of plastic, but apparently it's got a lot to do with the belt. This is something that I agree. By the way, it's like, okay, if you can improve the safety for women and you're not taking that into consideration, But I find it a little bit bizarre that they have to go all the way to a 2011 study. I mean, if vintage studies are the things, why not go to a study from 1860? Why are you going to such an old study in order to make the case? I mean, as we can see, this study was done in 2016 and was talking about how women in the military don't have equipment designed for them, but things are more progressive in 2021. We now have flight suits designed for jet fighter pilots that are pregnant. So, regarding the car crash dummies, I agree, but I'm curious if they can update their studies just a little bit. And then we get smartphones. Like, smartphones are a way that corporations are keeping women down. They're definitely making sure that they're being oppressed by designing bigger and bigger screens. The problem is that women have smaller and smaller hands. And you get people on Twitter, blue check marks, complaining about the fact that Apple marketing chief said without irony, while Apple phases out the only phone I can hold without risking dropping, stuck with Apple for security reasons. Welcome to the big screens, says Apple, and women like me with small hands who need the most secure phone for safety reasons are stuck with something they can't hold and constantly risk dropping. Company that designs $5 billion headquarters without a childcare center for the win. Yes, so Apple is part of this grand conspiracy now in order to oppress women with bigger screens for phones, because there's no other company that a woman can go to in order to buy a phone. You can't buy a model of a phone with a smaller screen. You can't, just not get the new Samsung Plus, because I understand like they come in different versions. You get like S20 and S20 Plus with a bigger screen. Because Zeynep Tufekik says that she keeps dropping her phone, this is a problem. Why not tie it to a string, by the way? Just tie it to a string, and when it drops you. Yeah, this is also against children, right? Like, it's also not designed for children. It's also not designed for people without hands. I mean, what is this corporation doing? Like, evil capitalism oppressing all of us. So I hope you managed to get a little bit entertained from reading this article that a left-leaning person chose. I personally think that these articles have only one goal, and one goal only, in order to cause outrage, right? Like, they want people to be outraged, and they want people to click on it. They're not addressing genuine problems that women have. Like, for example, we are living in a society where more and more time is required to spend at the office, and there's less time to see the family. I would say, like, that is something that women are concerned with. But no, like, instead of talking about that, which doesn't really have a solution, because the BBC probably wants its journalists to spend 12 hours at the office, we're going to talk about, just things that are easily fixed, things that are meaningless, things that don't really affect your life. How many women get their life affected because now you have, like, female spacesuits? How many women get their lives affected because now you get, like, I don't know, like the ability for Apple to make smaller smartphones, which, I mean, you can do though right now. Like, you can go on eBay and you can buy like a previous model. You can buy the iPhone 4 or something like that, and it's got a smaller screen. I mean, this is just like the most bizarre thing. It's so that rich people can complain about their existence, I guess. I mean, you would do a lot better for society if you talked about the poor, if you talked about the homeless, the children in the orphanage. Like, those are real issues. All of these things seem to be just whining and complaining about things that don't affect the majority of the population. And some of the things that do affect people, like, for example, the military, like, there should be another conversation about this. Is it the military more progressive because it genuinely cares about women and it genuinely wants to help women? Or is the military more progressive because it's desperate for recruits? Like, people don't feel a need to protect their country anymore. They don't feel the same requirement for patriotism. Maybe if you have, like, a culture that keeps bombarding the idea that your country is racist and evil, then people don't want to join the military. So now the military, instead of addressing those issues, instead of trying to have a conversation about those issues, it's actually talking about how they're progressive and they require more people to join and they're more welcoming and whatnot. I mean, recently they had this very woke commercial with an LGBT couple, and I'm thinking like, dude, it's the military. Like, you're supposed to go there to defend your country, and you're potentially going to kill people. It's not rainbows and flowers. You need the type of person that can pull the trigger when push comes to shove. Like, why are you trying to attract, the soft, hippie, lovey-dovey type of people to join this branch? It's just like bizarre, but I mean, I would say this is the type of conversation that needs having. Anyway, right, if you like my channel, take into account that I also live stream. There's a link into the description to my live stream channel. There's something weird happening with my live stream channel. Like, people aren't getting notifications more than usual. Like, people are asking, hey, V, why aren't you live streaming? And I'm like, dude, I've been live streaming every single day. Like, do you not see the live streams? It's very bizarre. So, maybe you guys can help me out figure that what's going on there. There's a link into the pinned comment section, and you can subscribe to my live stream channel. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.